The most remote and dangerous islands. Ilha de Quimara. Given Ilha de Quimara is only 33 kilometers off the coast of Brazil, it is the least remote of all of the islands covered here. Nonetheless, if you found yourself marooned on its shores, we bet you'd want to get off as quickly as possible. That's because this island is inhabited by the golden lacehead pit viper. This snake is venomous and thousands of them inhabit the island. In fact, some studies suggest that on average there is at least one viper per square meter. The island, nicknamed Snake Island, is thankfully closed to the public for the protection of the snakes and people. Bouvet Island. The most remote uninhabited island on the planet, this volcanic landmass can be found 1,700 kilometers north of Antarctica and 2,600 kilometers southwest of South Africa, smack dab in the middle of nowhere. There are no dangerous animals on this glacier-covered rock. Where the danger comes from is the inhospitable weather, threat of earthquakes, and the fact that if you get into any sort of trouble, rescue is a long way off. There are no ports and no airstrips on Bouvet, so the most reliable way to get onto this desolate island is by ship-launched helicopter. Miyake-jima. Located 180 kilometers south of Tokyo, Japan, this small island definitely qualifies as dangerous. Miyake-jima is like many other small islands found around Japan, only with one significant difference. Sure, like other islands, it was formed by volcanic activity, but in the case of Miyake-jima, the volcano is still very dangerous. In recent history, the island's volcano has erupted several times. The most recent eruption was in 2005, and since, residents are forced to carry on gas masks because of the poisonous sulfur dioxide gas that continues to be emitted. Rockall. Located 460 kilometers west of Great Britain, Rockall is a remote and barren island less than 800 square meters in size. As its name suggests, it's pretty much a giant rock sitting in the middle of a rather inhospitable Atlantic Ocean. It would be impossible to live on this island in any permanent fashion thanks to the notorious Atlantic weather and inability to grow anything edible. People have tried to set up camp with longest durations of stay being around a month and a half long. In fact, Rockall is so remote and has such a harsh environment that it has been said that more people have been to the moon than this tiny little rock formation in the Atlantic. Bikini Atoll. In the Central Pacific Ocean, you'll find the Marshall Islands, which is made up of a number of atolls, including Bikini. Now, when you hear a name like Bikini Atoll, you probably think warm water, nice beaches, and a great tourist destination. Not so much. The weather may be fantastic, but thanks to nuclear testing in the 1940s, this island is uninhabitable and remains dangerously radioactive. The original inhabitants were all moved to other islands, and Bikini is now home to a few caretakers who look after the facilities and monitor the radiation. KERGUELEN Islands. When you're also known as the Desolation Islands, you know you qualify as remote. Located in the southern Indian Ocean, this French territory looks like it's from another planet. It's cold, experiences high winds, and is surrounded by water that is almost always rough. It's home to some French researchers and scientists, but nobody really lives there. We imagine if you tried, the weather would eventually kill you. If not, any type of serious emergency likely would, given it's a 6-day trip by boat from the Reunion Island, the closest inhabited land. Tristan da Cunha. Home to just a few hundred inhabitants, Tristan da Cunha is one of the most remote inhabited islands on Earth. Its closest inhabited neighbor is the island of St. Helena, located nearly 2,000 kilometers away. If you're looking for mainland, South Africa is nearly 2,400 kilometers to the east. This volcanic island has only one flat and suitable spot for living on the northern side, which is where the 300 occupants can be found. Since there's no airfield, any supplies or medical relief comes in the form of ships, which can take several days to reach this very isolated island. Nuku Hiva. In the South Pacific, as part of the expansive collection of islands known as French Polynesia, you can find the paradise of Nuku Hiva. You may think that a few small villages and an airstrip mean that this island isn't very remote or dangerous, but do not be fooled. Nuku Hiva is a hilly and mountainous island covered in forests. It is also home to tribes which at one point practiced cannibalism. In 2011, German tourist Stefan Rahmen disappeared in the forest. Nobody knew what happened until some remains and scraps of clothing turned up. It is believed that he was eaten by a group of indigenous people who supposedly had given up the practice many years earlier. St. Kilda. Located 130 kilometers from Great Britain's mainland, St. Kilda is composed of 4 islands. The islands aren't home to any violent natives, dangerous animals, or radioactivity. Instead, the sheer power of the Atlantic and overall harshness of the climate make this place too dangerous and difficult to live in. In fact, the seas are often too rough to fish, meaning if you want to try to live here, you better like eating birds, because there are a lot of them. People have lived here for hundreds of years, but the environment was just too hard to live in, and in 1930, all inhabitants were evacuated to the mainland. North Sentinel Island. If there was ever an island that you would want to steer clear of, it is North Sentinel Island, found in the Bay of Bengal. Part of the Andaman Islands, this particular island is remote and very dangerous to outsiders. That's because North Sentinel is inhabited by a tribe of indigenous peoples who don't want any outsiders visiting. In 2006, 2 unlucky fishermen were killed when they came ashore. Attempts to communicate with the islanders have been met with aggression, and the Indian government has pretty much given up on trying to establish communication with its inhabitants. Today, the only contact we have is thanks to some long-range pictures and videos, some of which show the natives firing arrows and launching spears at low-flying planes. We hope you enjoyed this video. Here are some other videos that we feel you might enjoy, and please don't forget to click subscribe and thumbs up. Thank you.